the judge is postponing the so-called discovery process when documents are exchanged, information, for a week. The order suggests that you agreed to that request for a week. Why?
So there has been a sealing order by the court, so I can't speak about what's happening in discovery. What I can speak about is the order from yesterday
Hmm.
from the judge, and I think that that order, which was about just the discovery process and the objections to the discovery that the government is making, she used words such as that they were. Stubbornly refusing to comply. There was a willful refusal. And I think that her tone makes it clear that she understands and we understand that this case is more than about Mr. Abrego Garcia. This case is about the government, whether there's accountability, whether the government has accountability, whether the government is above the law.
The administration has highlighted a domestic dispute with his wife from 2021, an incident that she has in fact acknowledged. They also continue to allege that he is a member of the MS-13 gang and that he was involved in human trafficking. I know that the family has disputed all of those allegations to the extent related to the gang violence or anything else. Is there any truth to these accusations? And if so, or if not, why do you think the government is asserting these now?
I mean, I think the government is asserting them now because they're engaged in political messaging just so that they can figure out a way to justify their admitted mistake. I mean, again, they admitted to the court under oath that this was an administrative error, that our client was not supposed to be deported. Or not supposed to be deported to El Salvador. Let me be clear. They admitted that. And the reason for that is because he has a humanitarian final order restricting his deportation to El Salvador. So they've admitted that. And then afterwards, when they were called on it very publicly, and look, I mean, I think that the breadth of this case has really taken hold of the nation, and it's something that we didn't expect. When my small law firm took on this case, certainly we did not expect all of the media interest that we've gotten. And
His
in
family did
some
not
ways,
either, right? I mean, she was stunned to think about the breadth and scope of the coverage of this, and of course, what it could portend for so many others. I mean, she's caught up in this political frenzy, and frankly, this justice issue as well. And now she fears for her own safety. I mean, she and her kids were forced to move to a safe house, I understand, after officials perhaps have posted a court document that included the address of the family. Is that correct?
yes, I mean, I think exactly what you said. As much as we had no idea that this would take on a life of its own, and just want to be clear that I'm so happy it has, because I think that people are realizing that it is more than just this man. Exactly like you said, this is about, okay, well, if this country can disappear somebody to a foreign prison and then say there's nothing we can do about it, there's no recourse afterwards, then they can do that to anybody. And that is really the chilling effect of this case. And I think we had no idea, and I think she had no idea. And I can see her being very worried because it's a polarizing subject. You know, you have us screaming at the top of our lungs that our client should not have been deported, and the government has even said that themselves, that they did an error. And then you have the government saying, okay, well, he's an MS-13 member. And whether or not there's good evidence on that, the fact that the government is saying that is enough for people to believe it. And then on top of that, you have what you just mentioned, which is that the government posted a protective order. That protective order had the Mr. Abrego Garcia's wife's address on it. So I mean, I would be petrified if I were her. I mean, this case has caught so many people's attention. And so for your address to be publicly out there in this type of environment, when we're talking about this case that's so polarizing, I would be terrified.